working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Alma Angeles, delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region on today's headlines. Tourists marooned on Thai islands hunkered down Friday as Tropical Storm Pabuk edged closer, forcing airports and ferries to close and bringing downpours and massive sea swells hours before its expected landfall. The evolution of air transport connectivity in the ASEAN region. And we'll visit this ASEAN Heritage Park in the Philippines. It's composed of two mountains, Mount Tiempuong and Mount Hibok-Hibok, which is an active volcano located in the northwest area of the island. And the park is rich in species, diversity, and has unique ecotourism, characteristics being the source of well-known waterfalls, cold springs, hot springs, and soda waters. Tourists marooned on Thai islands hunkered down Friday as Tropical Storm Pabuk edged closer. It forced airports and ferries to close, and it brought downpours and massive sea swells hours before its expected landfall. Boats were recalled to shore across the Gulf of Thailand, while two key airports, Koh Samui and Nakhon Si Thammarat, were shut until Saturday, leaving tourists who remain on islands now cut off from the mainland. Pabuk, the first tropical storm in decades to strike during the peak holiday season, is expected to make landfall on Friday evening, with the eye passing over Nakhon Si Thammarat further to the south. As it churns through the sea, Pabuk has picked up speed with 75 kilometers an hour winds, staring huge waves of up to 5 meters high, or 16 feet. With rain slashing the entire south, the Meteorological Department warned coastal communities to expect inshore surges as winds whip up the sea. Now, authorities have opened evacuation shelters for vulnerable communities across Thailand's southernmost provinces. Pabuk is forecast to pass over the narrow neck of land between the Gulf of Thailand and into the Andaman Sea, home to the tourist resorts of Phuket and the Simila National Park, a diving paradise. Tens of thousands of tourists have already fled the southern zone. Meanwhile, hundreds of villagers have taken shelter in an evacuation center as Thailand's coastal south is expected to be hit by Tropical Storm Pabuk. Take a look. President Duterte is scheduled to visit those recently affected by floods and landslides brought about by Tropical Depression Usman in Bicol on Friday, according to Malacanang.
We're scheduled to visit tomorrow sa Bicol area, Camarines Sur. Siyempre, we will check on the stricken areas para malaman natin kung ano pang kailangan gawin. Meron na mga naka-ready. Meron na nga nauna eh. Lahat na kailangan nila ibibigay ni Presidente.
Manelo admitted that the President was saddened by reports that there has been a lack of coordination between national government and local government units over the onslaught of the tropical depression. But he noted that there are things you cannot control.
Natural lamang na malungkot ang Presidente sa mga panahon ng kalamidad. Pero ginawa naman natin ang lahat na maging handa. But there are things you cannot control. May mga dumarating na mga panahon na talaga magkakaroon ng mga trahedya.
Now, Panelo cited instances such as the power outages in the Bicol region that may have caused the lack of coordination, but he assured that the government will learn from its shortcomings.
And there are certain matters na hindi kagad nakaresponde at mayroon namang mga paliwanag din yung mga LGUs. So tingnan natin kung anong pwede pa natin gawin upang lalo tayo maging handa sa anumang panahon ng sakuna. Yeah. We will learn from whatever lesson we have seen. Ganun naman tayo eh. Pag medyo nagkamali o meron tayong mga dapat na gagawin natin.
The latest report from the Office of Civil Defense in the Bicol region showed that the death toll due to Usman has climbed to more than 100. Now, Malacanang assured the international community that it is still safe to travel to Mindanao amid international security warnings issued in the wake of the bomb attack in Cotabato City last December 31st. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo made this remark after the United Kingdom and Australian governments issued advisories warning their nationals against traveling to Mindanao.
You know, it's natural for any foreign government, or any government for that matter, to be concerned sa welfare, sa safety ng kanilang mga mamamayan. And we cannot blame them kung nagkaroon sila ng ganyang pananaw sapagkat nagkaroon ng bombahan sa Cotabato. But yun ay isolated case lang naman. So, insofar as the National Defense Secretary is concerned, it's very safe to travel sa Mindanao.
Now, earlier, Department of National Defense spokesperson Arsenio Andolong said there's nothing new with the advisory since governments regularly issue them to their citizens who are overseas. Andolong also said governments simply want to remind their citizens to take precautions when traveling to countries that have the presence of bandits and terrorists. In other news, in the ASEAN region, intensified fighting between a Buddhist armed group and Myanmar security forces has driven thousands of people from their homes in the country's western Rakhine state over the past month, amid rising tensions in the area where the Rohingya crisis broke out in 2017. Farkan Haq, United Nations spokesperson, said on Wednesday that about 2,500 people had been displaced since early December when clashes broke out with the Arakan Army, one of the several groups fighting Myanmar's military that want more autonomy for ethnic minorities. The Myanmar military last month announced a 4-month cessation in fighting in the north and northeast of the country in what appeared to be a rare conciliatory move aimed at kickstarting peace talks with the armed groups. Rakhine State was excluded from the pause, stoking doubts about the military's willingness to bring an end to all the country's conflicts. Analysts say the military left Rakhine State out because it does not want the Arakan Army, which claims to represent the Rakhine, the Buddhist ethnic group that makes up the majority in the state of the same name, to gain a foothold in the area, and has lingering concerns over less powerful Rohingya armed groups who call themselves the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. British Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt discussed the ongoing Rohingya refugee crisis during his bilateral talks with Malaysian Foreign Minister Saifuddin Abdullah, saying that the UK is very committed in resolving the issue. Take a listen.
How both Malaysia and the United Kingdom are very committed to working with other countries to resolving this humanitarian crisis that's happening, the biggest humanitarian crisis in this region. The status quo is not acceptable or fair or humane or dignified, and so we have very fruitful discussions about what needs to happen to take the situation forward, and we intend to work with Malaysia and with ASEAN and at the United Nations to try and make some real progress in resolving this terrible situation.
Now, he also commented on the sustainability of the Malaysian palm oil industry, saying that the UK will continue to follow very closely on the topic.
The way that Malaysia is making great effort to make sure that its palm oil industry is sustainable and that it is not developed at the expense of deforestation, which of course is very damaging to the environment. And so it was good to have the opportunity of hearing the progress that Malaysia is making in that respect. And from that point of view, this is an issue the UK will continue to follow very closely.
Laos has registered 38 deaths in road crashes in 5 days of the New Year's celebration. Now, police statistics reveal that up to 38 people have been killed as 256 were wounded in 187 road collisions across the country during the New Year's celebration, with the majority of accidents taking place due to driving under the effect of alcohol and speeding. Take a look. The statistics were taken during the 5 days from December 28 to 2018, December 28, 2018 to January 1, 2019, and observed by the Traffic Police Department under the Lao Ministry of Public Security. Furthermore, at least 200 or 323 vehicles were affected in the accidents.
When visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. Some of the species that you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Real estate prices in Cambodia's major cities only saw small increases last year, though land prices in coastal provinces saw a sharp increase, according to a second half 2018 Key Real Estate Company Limited report obtained by the Post on Wednesday. Land prices in Siem Reap town range from $100 to $5,500 per square meters, an increase of around 5 to 10% compared to 2017, according to the report. Key Real Estate Company Limited Director Sorn Sip said prices in central Siem Reap town did not experience similar increases as the area is already well developed and near its peak. He added that Prea Shinkayuk province saw much larger increases in comparison due to its lower base level of development and the influx of Chinese investors and tourists. Total retail sales of goods and services in Vietnam reached nearly $191 billion in 2018, representing a rise of 11.7% against the previous year, according to the General Statistics Office. According to the GSO, the increase reflected strong purchasing power in the domestic market, which contributed significantly to overall economic growth, reaching an 11-year high of 7.08%, with double-digit growth in recent years and strong domestic purchasing power of the population of more than 90 million people. The goods retail market of Vietnam was attractive to investors. The goods retail market was developing rapidly with the penetration of foreign retailers and the expansion of domestic players, according to Thu Hang from property consulting services firm Savills Hanoi. According to the Vietnam Institute for Trade Research, the market is seeing a rising trend of investments in mini marts and convenience stores. The institute forecasts that convenience stores would see double-digit growth in the next 3 years and reach 37.4% growth in 2021. Launch of the 24th ASEAN Transport Ministers meeting in Bangkok. The video now that you're about to see highlights the evolution of air transport connectivity in the ASEAN region. It also underlines the benefits of various ASEAN air transport initiatives in contributing towards a more competitive and resilient ASEAN, bringing people closer together and facilitating the efficient, safe, and secure movement of goods, services, and capital. Take a look.
ASEAN is one of the fastest growing aviation markets in the world. ASEAN air traffic, one of the busiest in the world, is projected to increase among ASEAN member states by 6.5% annually from 2013 to 2033. Recognizing that a well-integrated and sustainable air transportation network is imperative for the acceleration of ASEAN's economic development and market integration, the 13th ASEAN Summit endorsed the initiative of establishing an ASEAN Single Aviation Market (ASAM) by 2015 in support of the development of the ASEAN Economic Community (AEC). ASAM will contribute towards a more competitive and resilient ASEAN, as it will bring people closer together and facilitate the efficient, safe, and secure movement of goods, services, and capital closer together. In April 2016, ASEAN reached a significant milestone in its ongoing ASEAN community building process, with the realization of open skies for the ASEAN market through the full ratification of the ASEAN Open Skies Agreements. ASEAN has concluded and signed the protocol to implement the 10th package of commitments on air transport services under the ASEAN Framework of Services (AFAS) to further liberalize air transport ancillary services in the region. ASEAN is also reaching out to engage and work with ASEAN's dialogue partners to enhance air connectivity with the major market partners. The implementation of this measure has further strengthened collaboration with China, Japan, the Republic of Korea, the United States, and the European Union in many sectors of aviation, including economic components, aviation safety, aviation security, and air traffic management. ASEAN Air Traffic Management Master Plan, which provides an ASEAN framework for transition to the seamless ATM environment to meet future requirements, has been adopted, and implementation of ASEAN ATM Master Plan is ongoing. Mutual Recognition Arrangement on Flight Crew Licensing (MRA on FCL), covering the mutual recognition of approvals, certificates, and licenses related to flight crew licensing issued by an ASEAN member state civil aviation authority, has also been adopted, and implementing protocols are under progress. In line with post-2015 vision for transport cooperation and Kuala Lumpur Transport Strategic Plan KLTSP as guided by ASEAN transport ministers, ASEAN put its best effort towards greater connectivity, efficiency, integration, safety and sustainability of ASEAN air transport to strengthen ASEAN's competitiveness and foster regional inclusive growth and development.
Hi guys, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Kenneth, and we're your new hosts for The Break Room.
So please watch us every Monday at 7:30 to 8 in the evening. We are one with 25.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Pep News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
World number 1 Ria Jutanagarn of Thailand will begin the 2019 LPGA campaign in 2 weeks with new caddy Daniel Taylor after a split with former bagman Les Luark. Aria's team confirmed to the LPGA, according to a tour website posting, that she has made the change ahead of the season opening tournament of champions on January 17 to the 20th at Lake Buena Vista, Florida. Aria's team up with Englishman Taylor is on a trial basis. Luark had carried off and on for Aria since she joined the LPGA in 2015, including a record-smashing 2018 campaign in which the 23-year-old Thai star won 3 times, including last June's U.S. Women's Open, and completed an unprecedented sweep of the tour's major season-ending awards. Now, the National Park is one of the important key biodiversity areas of the Philippines. This ASEAN Heritage Park is composed of 2 mountains, Mount Timpoong and Mount Hibok-Hibok, which is an active volcano located in the northwest area of the island. The park is rich in species diversity and has unique ecotourism characteristics, being the source of well-known waterfalls, cold springs, hot springs, and soda waters. Take a look. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles, always one with 25.